Going live.
We are live, dude. Guys, I'm looking at both cameras. We're filming both with two cameras here for both of our channels. I am with my lifelong friend, Eddie Gray. We've known each other since high school. Mm-hmm. And we'll tell you that story in a minute, but we're going to do like some Euro metal talk here. We got some really exciting news, something cool that's going to happen tonight. But yeah, my good friend Eddie Gray here. We're also filming for his channel as well, the Pipe Nook. So if you're watching this on my channel, on the Jason Stallworth channel, if you are into pipes, like real authentic pipes, definitely head to Eddie Gray's channel. Of course, after this video, watch this first, the Pipe Nook. And,
yeah, if you go to my channel, you're just going to be watching pretty much the same thing right now. So
yeah,
no point in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can check out thepipenook.com, which is my website, or you can check out my channel, The Pipe Nook, here on YouTube.
Yeah. And if you're watching this on Eddie's channel...
No, I wasn't going to do that.
Oh, man.
No, this is my buddy Jason Stallworth, and your channel name is Jason Stallworth. Now, right?
Just kept it simple.
He is a metal musician of the metallic kind, and so if you're into cool metal,
yeah,
like we are.
Like what we're wearing now, kind of.
Yes.
These are like the coolest shirts in the world, man.
Metal shirts.
Arch enemy, I'm on a Mars. I mean, dude.
Right on.
So guys, we're here. We have a cool show to go to tonight. We are actually going to a country concert. Wait a minute, no. No, I'm kidding, guys. We're going to see one of our favorite European metal bands, and it's kind of what we want to chat with you today about. Delane and Amorphous, and I know there's someone else opening up for them tonight. We're going to Ybor City. I think it's at the Orpheum. Yeah, that's where we're going.
Yep.
So we're going to check them out tonight. And dude, you're responsible for getting me into European metal.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm like super biased to Euro metal now. I don't like the American metal that I listen to today. Is usually just like the old stuff, you know. And some of the newer albums that these older bands do, like Overkill, you know, they just came out with something, you know, recently. Of course, I've always kept up with Megadeth. They've kind of gotten soft over the years, you know. But that's, Testament came out with a new album. So all those bands, but a lot of the newer stuff, you know, I like a lot of it, but it doesn't hit me, you know, like the older bands do. And then I'm really into this Euro metal trip, you know, again, like Arch Enemy and Amon Amarth, and we're going to see Delane tonight. So, but yeah, you got me into this a long time ago. You introduced me to Sonata Arctica and Nightwish many moons ago.
Yep.
That was cool.
So, well, let me explain a little bit to my channel, the five of you. I can't even tell how many people are watching here.
Yeah.
Hey, Piper69, I see your comment.
Oh, I got some folks on mine as well.
Well, I got
Good
four folks watching. So, and that's what I told you. Probably the 5 people that are interested in metal that watch my channel might tune in.
Awesome, man.
But anyway, so this is definitely not a standard video for me. Normally, you guys see a pipe in my mouth, but you also see me wearing metal shirts here and there. So anyway, I'm glad you guys, some of y'all tuned in for this. But what we're going to do today is just have a brew.
Yeah, let's open up a brew. Yeah.
And then we can talk about the show that we're going to.
Yeah, let's do that. So, quick shout out, and they don't know I'm shouting out, but Motorworks Brewing here, they're out of Bradenton, Florida. We're drinking their coffee porter Midnight Express. Man, this is good stuff, dude.
And I'm a little concerned because I think there's 2 cups of espresso on the side of this thing.
That's why you didn't sleep last night, too.
It's actually a double shot of espresso in this. I've already had 4 cups of coffee this morning.
Yeah, we've had quite a bit.
But, well,
look how dark this is, dude. To my people, metal and beer, guys. The good life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a super dark beer. Super good, though.
Ooh.
Yeah. Dude. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Here's to metal. So, guys, tonight we're going to see Delane. I want to give you guys a quick history on how Eddie and I became like such close friends over the years. We actually used to play in bands back in the day, and so it kind of started really our senior year of high school, or like right after high school. I was introduced to Eddie from a mutual friend of ours, and they were looking for a guitarist. Eddie was managing this band called Palingenesia. which means a new beginning in Greek. But what did other people call Pale and Genesea?
We called it pagan gonorrhea. It was like, you know, I mean, everybody has pet names for their projects, but
that was a pet name for us. We were pagan gonorrhea, but no, but the real name was Pale and Genesea, and it was kind of like, you know, this is back in like what 1993 through 95, something like that. We're going. And we were together for about 2 years, and Eddie was the band manager. We played a decent amount of shows. We were considered, I guess, a Christian rock band back in those days. Played quite a few venues, but that was kind of short-lived, and you know, the band kind of went their separate ways. But Eddie and I, of course, we just hit it off. Like, you know, it's like that Saved by the Bell song, "Friends Forever." Remember?
That's a deep hole.
Yeah. But so we actually started playing music together. You know, dude, Eddie is a smooth, like, acoustic guitarist, just really awesome at that. You got a good voice too, man. But you actually play bass because we needed someone to play bass.
That's right.
And
most of the bass players are frustrated guitar players. Not all, but most.
So we formed a band called The Guys, and we played like more kind of like an 80s style rock. It's my fault that our band didn't succeed because you know, I insisted on moving us in a direction that was really not metal, and we should have been playing metal. We should have sought out like a metal drummer, and back then a metal vocal. I didn't sing really well back then, but I insisted on being the lead singer, and I definitely didn't sing metal back then like I do today. You know, I've worked on vocals over the years like 24/7, so.
Right, well, you know, we were poor, and we were trying to make it. We wanted to make it.
That was the game.
So we were trying to play this radio-friendly alternative with a little hard rock edge.
Yeah, just didn't cut it.
It wasn't us.
We had a decent audience. We played quite a few gigs. We played Springfest in 1999. That was a cool show.
Yeah, that was a cool show. I'm trying to think of who some of the mainliners were that year. I think maybe I don't remember. It's been so long, but Springfest was a big deal back in the day.
It was huge, man. Yeah, it was huge.
And we played like the new band showcase.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Now, I want to go back real quick, guys.
Go back.
Going back, man, to LMS class, life management skills in high school. We're getting to the Euro metal part, guys, I promise, but I got to share this story real quick. Eddie was like a real smart dude in high school, so you hung out with smart people. I was kind of like just a nobody, so you know, whatever that means. But in 9th grade, right, remember, me and Eddie didn't meet until like after high school, but going back to 9th grade, we were in life management skills class, and our high school, man, it was really segregated. Like, you had your country people, which they called that the hick table. You had your cheerleader table. You had your jocks, your preps, your nerds, your this and that. All these categories of people, and neither one of us really fit into any category. So we're like here at this table that was, I don't know, what was that table?
We were in the leftovers table. That's really what it was. So there was you, and I was pretty sure you were like a Satanist.
Yeah.
And there was me, and I didn't even know what I was. And then there was this guy that was a skate punk. You know, he had, well, kind of like my hair, a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But he was a skater dude. And then there was a guy that was really into Star Trek. Like, I can't believe how many Star Trek shirts this guy had.
Every day, new one.
So yeah, the four of us were the leftovers table. So, I don't.
We're the losers, man.
Yeah, we were the guys that walked into the lunchroom and try to find a seat, and it's like, whoa, where do I sit? You know what I mean?
Like, I remember going to the table one time, and they're like, "Hey, we don't allow nerds to sit here."
And you're like, I'm not.
I'm like, I'm not smart enough to be a nerd. I don't even fit in with the nerds, you know. I don't know. It was weird. High school was not friendly to me, but no, it was just some funny story. But later, you know, when we met and we just really hit it off, we've been close friends, dude. You're like a brother to me. You're like your family, dude. So, you know, I get so emotional.
At two, Jay say.
Yeah. So Euro metal, dude, you got me into Sonata Arctica. I remember you and our good friend Tom, you guys came down. This was like this would have been 2000, maybe 3 or 4 or something like that. I don't know. Maybe 5?
Something like that. We'd have to ask Tom.
Yes,
he's the memory.
Yeah, he's the memory. You and I, our memory sucks. But we went to see Sonata Arctica live here in Tampa around that time, And that's really when you hooked me to European metal, and I started just like exploring other bands. You know, we discovered Nightwish that way, which you and I, we've seen Nightwish at least twice together, maybe 3 times, I don't know. And I wish, like Sonata Arctica is a band I want to talk about real quick. Like, going back, and you can give a description of that first album, but going back, I loved them so much, man. And they were so unique. And but then something changed over the years. I don't know if it's like band egos or if it was the label saying you guys got to do this now, because labels kind of suck that way. But dude, now they're like nothing like what they used to be. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like with Killswitch Engage. You get a new Killswitch Engage album. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
It's more of the same.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what Sonata has kind of become. But anyway, so Sonata really was a touchstone band for me. So in the 90s, I pretty much didn't listen to the radio, wasn't into the alternative music type stuff, and my bands that I loved, the metal bands and the hair bands, they were trying to fit into that new dynamic, and it just didn't work.
It crashed, yeah.
Lots of albums that bands made that weren't really what they were all about.
No, dude, no.
And you could tell. It wasn't genuine and it wasn't good. So, through the 90s, pretty much I just wore out my old albums from the 80s, or in the early 90s, you know. The Metallica albums, the Megadeth albums. I was into the hair bands, so like Skid Row and Guns N' Roses and all that kind of stuff.
Love those guys, dude. Love those guys.
So that's what I listened to. That's what got me through the 90s. And then about 2001, I think, I was on the internet trying to search related bands, trying desperately to find new music to listen to.
That didn't suck.
Yeah, so I was like, you know, bands related, or, you know, bands similar to Metallica or Megadeth or, you know, whatever. And somehow I stumbled across Sonata Arctica.
Yeah, it just sounded cool.
Yeah, I was like, Sonata Arctica, they kind of sound like, they're trying to sound like Metallica.
Yeah.
So I went to Amazon and listened to some samples, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah,
like,
dude. It was,
this
so
band is
different.
legit.
Yeah.
And they were fast, they were proficient, excellent singer. I mean, super, super good quality metal, if you're into metal. And I had never heard metal really like that before. It was what they call symphonic metal, I think.
Yeah. It was even different from most symphonic metal bands, though. Like Nightwish is deemed as that, too. And I've heard other symphonic metal bands. But I think Sonata, this is what I love about some of the bands from overseas, from Europe. Well, if you're in Europe, it wouldn't be overseas to you. Because you're there. And you're really blessed, man, because you got some awesome metal over there. But no, Sonata, I think bands like Sonata and Nightwish particularly, they created their own genre of music, of metal, their own subgenre of metal. I could say the same about Evergrey, Tom England's band Evergrey. He's got a very unique sound to their music, and it just kind of like puts them way up here for me. It's unique, but it's not so unique that it's weird. And you know what I mean? Sometimes bands like try to be different, you know what I mean? And they end up going over that edge to where it just doesn't really connect with you. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of bands like that. But no, dude, yeah, you're responsible for getting me into Euro metal, and then from there we started venturing out into other metal like Arch Enemy, Amon Amarth, you know, good stuff.
And people ask me about Amon Amarth, like, what does that mean? It sounds like, is that devil music? It's not devil music, necessarily, but Amon Amarth, they're Viking metal, so they sing a lot about Norse mythology.
Sure, yeah.
Thor, Odin, all, you know, Loki, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Viking metal. It's kind of funny, but it's cool. But Amon Amarth, they took that from J.R.R. Tolkien. I think it was Elvish for Mount Doom.
Ooh, that sounds cool. Mount Doom.
Yes.
I didn't know this, dude. I know this is new to me.
Yeah, and you know Delane. We're going to see Delane tonight. Their name came from a Stephen King novel, The Eyes of the Dragon, which you would love. It's a fantasy novel.
I've not read this yet, dude.
Yes, but the kingdom in that book was the kingdom of Delane. Wow. Yeah.
That's some interesting, and that's who we're seeing tonight.
Yep.
I don't know where Amorphous spawned from. We'll have to dig into that a little bit more, you know?
Amorphous, I'm pretty sure, is a Finnish band. Yeah. But they've been around even longer than Delane. I think Delane's first album came out in 2004.
Yeah.
Amorphous' first album came out in 1990, which is insane. I've never heard of this band before.
Yeah, that's when like death metal in the '90s was kind of popular. I say popular loosely. I mean, death metal's never popular, but among us metalheads in the metal community, which I love our metal family, guys. We have the most awesome family ever. But yeah, I never heard of Amorphous either, and I think because now we have the internet, so now a band can be in like some weird named island like somewhere or Mars, and we're gonna know about it because of the internet. We didn't have that back then, so you didn't really, you really had to go out there and find stuff. Now it's just so easy to find different bands. But back in those days, the death metal bands were bands like Obituary, which Obituary is from Seffner. My wife and I live in Seffner, Florida. So they're from here. This used to be the metal capital of the world. I know I've said this in other videos, and a lot of you guys know this, but we're kind of in the Tampa, Florida, Brandon, Florida, that whole area. This was like the metal capital of the world at one time. Cannibal Corpse is from here. Camelot's from here. I think Opeth is from around this area. Correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, Obituary, several other bands, but this was just like the booming metal capital. And it's not so much anymore, but it's becoming that way. Actually, my good friends in the band Siren, they were around in the 80s. You guys know, my channel knows that Ed Osbourne, their drummer, and one of the founders of Siren, he actually did the drums for Heavy Metal Workout 2, the album I put back out, and that was 2017. So, yeah, so I'm connected with those guys, but yeah, and they're starting to do more. But, and even Siren, they're going to, I think they went to Germany this past year, and I think they're going again in 2020.
Sweet.
But that whole area over there, though, in Europe, just, I don't know, that music, I either listen to older bands, American older bands, or I listen to the European metal. Like, we went through a span of time where metal music just kind of just fell off.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of new stuff coming out, and the stuff that did come out was like, we were talking about that earlier, and I don't know.
Yeah, so the 90s, pretty much just skip the 90s. That's not true. I mean, there are good albums in the 90s, but they're few and far between compared to the way things were in the 80s and the way they are now.
Would you say like around mid-90s, like 95, 96, up to about maybe 2011 or something like that? I mean,
For the fall off of metal?
Yeah.
I would say 93 to maybe even 92 to about 2011. Yeah, probably so. And then you see a lot of bands after the millennium kind of reform, get back together, and some bands had just played together for, like, I remember Iron Maiden. So Iron Maiden is my favorite my favorite metal band of all time.
You just saw them live?
Yes, for the first time ever.
I'm so jealous.
In Atlanta. I went to Hotlanta in July, I think it was.
Dude.
15,000 people.
Oh, man.
In an outdoor crowd. It was crazy.
That's nuts.
But even Maiden, they're one of the big guns in metal music. Always have been.
Oh. No, I don't want to blow it on you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. So,
Sorry. There we go.
But even Maiden had their lean years in the 90s. So a friend of mine was telling me that Maiden, at a point, they played arenas in the 80s, and then in the early 90s, interest waned, and there are many reasons for that, but they were playing in bars again. Freaking Iron Maiden was playing in bars.
How does that happen?
And my buddy James was like, I had a chance to go see Iron Maiden in a bar called Boogers. So it's like, please offer up a big warm Boogers welcome to Iron Maiden, you know what I mean?
Speaking of boogers, dude.
No, we're not going to talk about boogers.
All right, man, all right.
No. Not safe for work. But anyway, what are we talking? We're spitballing again this
Yeah, we're kind of spitballing, but we're just talking about music, and we're really harping on the Euro metal because that's I think you and I both, as far as metal goes, that's mainly what we listen to these days. Now your tastes go a little bit more broad than my tastes do.
Yeah.
I know you're a huge Tom Petty fan. Rest in peace, Tom Petty, dude. He was, and I like Tom Petty a lot too. But you've got some other things that you venture off on outside of metal, and of course I've got mine as well. There's some other bands, that kind of aren't really like metal, one of my favorite, like, I don't want to call them guilty pleasures because that wouldn't be right, but one of my favorite bands is not like what I listen to on a normal basis, and they're kind of metal because they got guitars, but it's the Birthday Massacre, man. I discovered the Birthday Massacre like a few months ago, and a lot of times, if I'm just listening to it when I'm working on a blog post or whatever for you guys. So what's one of your bands that's not metal but that you love that maybe people haven't heard of?
Oh, that people haven't heard of. Well, that's tricky. Oh my gosh. Put me on the spot here.
Well, it can be just maybe not like a super popular band. You know what I mean?
Well, in the right circles, this is a super popular band. But there's a band called Sunvolt that I really, really love. Jay Farrar. He was in a band called Uncle Tupelo in the 90s, I think, that were early 90s. They were like a new genre. They kind of created a new genre. It was a little bit bluegrass, a little bit punk.
Bluegrass?
Yeah. It was a little country, a little bit rock and roll.
Oh my God, dude.
and a punk feel. So Uncle Tupelo was two guys, two creative forces.
Not Tupac, right?
No, not Tupac.
Okay, right, yeah.
But it was Jay Farrar and it was Jeff Tweedy.
Okay.
Jay Farrar, once that band split up, Uncle Tupelo, Jay Farrar formed Sunvolt and went his way.
Yeah.
Kind of a Neil Young feel to his vocals and still kind of countrified. And then Jeff Tweedy formed Wilco. You probably heard of Wilco.
I have not. Actually, I don't know who Wilco. No, I don't.
Wilco is a very experimental rock, alternative, weird band.
Like a fun band, right?
Yeah, they're a fun band. I liked their first album. After that, they just got a little crazy for me. But anyway, so yeah, Sunvolt, check them out.
Yeah, I've heard of them, and I think one of the bands I love that you and I were both fans of. They were in the right circle. They were popular, right? It's just as far as the broad audience is King's X.
Mm-hmm.
I love King's X. I remember listening to their earlier albums, and we used to listen to those a lot. Remember Goldilocks from was that Out of the Silent Planet? It
was their first album. Yeah,
that was their first album. Doug Pennick, you talking about vocals, man? I mean, if I could steal anybody's voice and impart it in me, maybe there's an app for that. I don't know, but it would be Doug Pennick. He's an amazing bass player, amazing songwriter, amazing vocalist, and love King's X, man. They've got some really good stuff,
Pennick has been around.
Long
he was
time.
older than the other guys in King's X. I don't know if you know this, but I think he's in his 60s now.
Older than Ty.
Yeah. But he's lately, the past 10 years or so, he's done solo albums. He's stuck with King's X.
Yeah.
He sang for George Lynch.
Oh my God,
KMX.
Yeah, KMX. That's right.
He has sung for Reb Beach in a band called The Mob.
I didn't know about that one, dude. I missed that.
There's a guy from Night Ranger and then Reb Beach from Winger.
Yeah.
Or as they called it in Florida, Wanger.
Wanger. Oh man.
You boys like Wanger?
You know what, dude? I purposely got rid of my southern accent, and it's nothing against people from the South. There's a lot of awesome people, but I just
it's exclusionary, especially when you're doing basically global videos.
Right. So I purposely maybe it was just subconsciously more than purposely, but anyway, my southern accent. I used to have a southern drawl, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And
because where we went,
because where we lived, nothing wrong with that. But and of course I started learning, studying other languages. Like I'm fluent in Thai language now, so that whenever you start learning another language, you kind of lose your accent. I don't know, something weird happens. It's supposed to make you smarter too. I don't know if that's
my accent comes and goes, because
we have one,
Yeah, well, I was born in Ohio.
Oh.
In Dayton, Ohio, and I lived there until I was 3. So I guess those formative years.
Yeah.
So when we moved back here when I was 3, everybody talks Southern.
Mm-hmm.
You
want some butter beans cornbread?
I tell you what.
Yeah.
But I would talk to people and they're like, "Boy, where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from here. I've been here since I was 3. This is all I remember."
But when you make it.
But when we were in high school, I kind of got a little bit of a Southern accent, and it kind of comes and goes depending on who I'm talking to.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of being able to like to relate to just about anybody. So
Yeah.
you know, but like some people, you know, used to people would meet me like, so what kind of music do you do? Do you do country?
Or
And I'm like,
Western.
yeah, I like both kinds of music, country and Western. I don't know what that devil music is. No, real quick, devil music. I remember a good friend of mine way back, you know, like bands like Metallica and Megadeth, where we kind of grew up in the Bible Belt. And again, you got nothing wrong. I'm not making any like jabs at any culture or whatever, you know, to each their own. But any kind of metal music, if you had a distorted guitar, it was like automatically deemed as devil music with them Jezebels, you know, and Jezebels, Christmas bells. That's out there in left field. So anyway, yeah, I remember my buddy, my neighbor, was listening to Metallica at the time. And his mom comes out like, "What's that noise you listening to? Is that devil music?" He's like, "No, Mom, it's White Cross. They're a Christian band."
Oh, okay.
It's like, oh, okay, you know. Anyway, so but a lot of people misconstrued metal bands as satanic and like Master of Puppets. You know, people thought that song, oh my God, that's the devil. He's your man. I'm like, no, actually, they're like, you know, telling. You know, they're like sending that message out that, hey, drugs are bad, it ruins your life, and that's kind of the same message that the church was sending too. So actually, it's a good song. You know, we can sing Master of Puppets in church.
It's weird how, you know, yeah, when we were kids in the 80s, I was telling you this earlier, it, you know, news was on the witch hunt for satanic music.
Oh, dude.
And I can remember Oprah Winfrey having Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden on, and maybe Dee Snider from Twisted Sister.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. And my dad was like, "Whoa, my son's listening to that stuff." So he went and like dug out some albums from my collection and like made me take them back to the store. Very embarrassing. But you know, it's just because something focuses on maybe darker elements of society or darker topics or is heavier music doesn't necessarily make it demonic or satanic.
Not at all.
And I listen to a lot of Christian bands. I'm a Christian myself. I listen to a lot of non-Christian bands.
Sure.
And, you know, as long as they're not just spouting out hate or blatant Satanism, which I'm not into.
It's cheesy anyway. I mean, my personal opinion, and that stuff's just cheesy. It's like, okay, you're just trying to get attention like a 12-year-old, you know? I mean, like, but, you know.
You know, people like Ozzy Osbourne comes out with Suicide Solution, an anti-suicide song.
Right.
It's actually about drinking.
Yeah.
Suicide Solution.
Yeah.
You know, it's about alcoholism. But, you know, everybody's like, oh, he's trying to get fans to kill themselves. Why would an artist try to get his fans to kill themselves? They're not going to be around to buy the next album.
Right, yeah, yeah. The thing about musicians is we want people to be a part of our thing here. We want people, like you, and you guys know me on my channel, I not only give you metal music, but I like to get you guys involved in what's going on in my personal life. You know, you know, pretty much everything I do is out there, either on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. So, you know, yeah, I mean, I love having the relationship with my metal family, with my people. I think that this is the most awesome thing in the world. I love this, you know. Well, we're going to talk about Euro bands. We just kind of went all over the map here, man.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Dude, I'm glad you're here, man. We get to see each other like once, sometimes twice a year if we're lucky. And
yeah, this is a highlight of the year for me. The Pipe Show in Nashville, or at least the Pipe Meetup in Nashville, when we get to do it. I don't know any plans about a Pipe Meetup this year in Nashville. Maybe in November we'll get something going, but that's a highlight of the year. And then me coming down to see you, and you know, we always find a show to go to.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
But that's always secondary. That's the excuse to come.
Yeah, it's an excuse. Like, it's like, hey, there's a show coming up, so I'm gonna take a 7-hour drive.
7-hour drive, man.
Down to Tampa, and yeah. So we will be in Ybor tonight, guys. I'm gonna be posting. I won't post it on YouTube. I'll post some stuff later. But if you guys are on my Facebook and Instagram anyway, most of you are. So I'll be posting some pictures of tonight. I'm sure we'll have more of these tonight, guys. We are going to Uber to the show, and I'm saying this for a reason, because you and I both love beer, and but we know we're probably going to have quite a bit of beer tonight, you know, so we're not going to drive.
Yeah.
And I know that's just, I mean, it's kind of common sense, but if, we have like so many options these days. We'll be Ubering to the show and back. We're not gonna, take a risk on driving there because that'd be stupid. So I like to throw that out there because I just encourage you guys to do the same when you think about it. Hey, if I'm gonna have, over 2 beers or whatever.
Even if there's a possibility.
Yeah. Just take an Uber, guys. So I like to throw that out there. So we're gonna be that example tonight because I know we're, I don't know, the beers are kind of expensive there, so might not have that much. Unless you're buying, then what's there want,
Yeah, well, let me just break out the wad of cash.
Yeah. Guys, real quick, my fans, if you're into pipes, like often, I want to give a shout out real quick, kind of midstream here. If you're into pipes and tobacco, I'm talking about the old school stuff, like the authentic tobacco, the real deal pipes. Head over to Eddie's channel. Once I post this video, this is the live version. Once I post this, I'll put the link to his YouTube channel. It's called the Pipe Nook, N-O-O-K. I used to call it the Pipe Nuke.
I know.
Like we're gonna nuke the world with pipes,
I started telling people I'm not bombing anyone.
Yeah.
It's Nook. It rhymes with hook.
Yeah.
It's
So
the Pipe Nook.
the Pipe Nook. And you got a cool little intro there,
Oh, thanks, bud.
So you're gonna give a shout out to my channel too, or no?
Maybe. So there is a little bit of overlap, and I think it's kind of funny because metal is so high octane, high energy, and pipe smoking is so low key. But there is some crossover there. There are some people that listen to metal music and smoke pipes. So for y'all out there that may see this now or in the future that are into metal music, check out Jason Stallworth. Jason is a metal musician.
Yes.
He's got 4 albums under his belt.
Yeah, 4 albums. I think my latest album, I just released an album called Masterpiece. One word, Masterpiece. Piece is spelled P-E-A-C-E. That's on Google Play, iTunes, Spotify. You can buy CDs on my shop as well. I finally got CDs. This is like the first,
Actual physical CDs.
Yeah. These CDs here.
Well,
A bad pun.
Your people have seen this plenty.
Yeah.
My people have not. So
Yeah, your people have seen this yet.
Masterpiece, Jason Stallworth. And you see the 4 Thai symbols down there. That stands for J, Sun, Stallworth.
Well, just Jason. No, so a little background on that. My wife is Thai, she's half Thai. So I'm a little tied up right now. No. So so I've ingrained myself in that culture, which I love the Thai culture. We both speak the language, and we travel there. So
oh, look at that!
It's just a beautiful place. I think we're out of beer, dude. Yeah. But no, so it was kind of like a little signature thing. Well, why don't I just spell my first name in Thai, and it looks like cool, like satanic symbols. I'm kidding, guys. I'm joking. But everybody's got these symbols out there, so
yeah.
So it just look cool. But yeah, I'm sure you'll post a link to my channel.
I will. And of course, I don't know when that'll be, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can check out Jason Stallworth. That's the name of your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Is it also the name of your Instagram?
It's the name of my everything, dude. It's just Jason Stallworth.
And jasonstallworth.com, correct?
jasonstallworth.com, yeah. So it says, I kept it simple.
Yeah.
I didn't want to come up with all these different names to keep up with because, at our age, our memory's like gone, so it's like,
not so great.
I'll just keep it simple. I'm a solo artist. But,
yeah.
Dude, tonight's concert, it's going to be awesome, man. I've been waiting for you to come down. We were searching for shows to go to. And, you and I both, I think, we're not really like avid concert goers. Like, we're not like, oh my God, here's a concert, let's go. Mm-hmm. But it's more like, okay, we're waiting for that right band to come in that we really, really like and want to support. I love supporting bands that we love. So we've been searching and waiting for that right time. And here comes Delane.
Yeah, and when we saw Delane open up for Nightwish, I think it was the first time. We were late. We didn't know who Delane was, so we weren't concerned about getting there on time.
Yeah.
And when we walked in, we're like, who is this band? Because they were playing on this tiny little...
Oh my God.
The opening act usually gets a little riser.
Yeah.
The drum kit barely fits on it. And then they had these, little...
Yeah.
Like pull down signs that said Delane,
Yeah.
on the little cheap expo stand.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And I was like, these guys are way better than
They
this.
sounded amazing. This was in Orlando. You guys are like, we're in Sefner area now, but we were in Orlando, and it was like we were excited to see Nightwish because we're like, oh my God, Nightwish, love Nightwish, everything about them. And Floor Jansen wasn't with them. They had the other singer with them at that time, I think, right?
Really?
Or was it Floor?
No, I think it was. I don't remember.
It wasn't
would have
Tarja,
been 3
was it?
years ago.
Yeah, just like,
If it wasn't Tarja, it was Annette, the second singer.
I know we saw Floor Jansen last year. We actually saw Nightwish in St. Pete last year. That was that was at Janice Live, and that was Floor Jansen. But I don't know. I can't remember, dude.
Dude, our memories are bad.
They suck, man.
We don't even remember who sang that.
Maybe we drank too many beers. But no, so we were standing out, like the line was super long, man. And so we were standing outside the line. We heard the music start before we got in because we're in line. And we already had our tickets too. And it's like, oh my God, this sounds awesome. I walked in. I don't know what amp they were playing through. I can't remember, but it wasn't a standard. I think it might have been a Crane Camp or something like that, if I remember right, or something else. But the guitar tone just like, whoa. Who is this?
Yeah.
Like we saw the headliner, but because our memories suck, we didn't remember who the headliner was. We're like, we got to listen to this. We got to dig into this band more.
Yeah. So Delane became a favorite.
Yeah.
These days, I might like Delane more than I like Nightwish. That's kind of a hard thing to say, but
That's tough. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that one.
but then the band that they're co-headlining with tonight, Amorphous.
Amorphous. Yeah.
Like I said, I'd never heard of them before, so I had 13 albums to
Dude.
dig into that I've been listening to for the past month. You did not do your homework.
I did not, dude. I listened. You told me about them, and of course I knew it. I've heard them. Like just you guys know when you like go to whatever you use, Spotify, iTunes, whatever. You start a radio station based on something you like. So that's the beauty of today is you get to hear all these new songs and bands that you may have not heard of before. And so I've heard Amorphous in that light, but for whatever reason, I never really like stopped to really dig into them. Then after you told me you dug into them, I started listening more. I'm like, okay, these and whatever you're playing last night, I don't remember what song it was, but it was really cool. You were playing the radio downstairs, and that was really awesome. But yeah, I'm excited, guys. This is gonna be an awesome show. If you guys are on, I think most of you guys are on my Facebook and Instagram. I'll throw some pictures up, later tonight at the show. Dude, I kind of, if we have time, I know you got to go back to Pensacola tomorrow. It's always a short trip, but I think I'd like for us to do a live recap of the Delane concert, man.
That'd be cool. Yeah, hopefully we'll have time for that.
We won't be drinking beers, we'll be drinking coffee instead, because I know you got to drive back, obviously, and it'll be kind of in the morning when we do that. So, if it's not live, at least we can film something, put it together. But we'll give you guys a recap for sure of the Delane show. Definitely check out Delane, DELAIN. I can't spell, dude.
Use your letters, dude.
Yeah, use your letters. We'll give you guys a recap, in some form, but maybe we'll shoot it, if it's not raining tomorrow, we'll shoot it out on the patio tomorrow morning.
Well, I have 9 people watching.
Yeah, I've got,
After 40
I've got a few
40
people
minutes
here
to
watching,
breathe.
yeah. Man, 40 minutes we've been talking, we talked a long time, dude. Well, dude, I say we wrap it up. I need another one of these.
That'd be nice.
And
So-
I think I want some pizza too.
Guys, I know this has not been a pipe-centric video. If we do something on the patio tomorrow, I might be smoking my pipe.
Yeah, break out a pipe, dude. You can do that. Pipe and coffee,
Yeah, so look for that, and we'll chat with y'all later.
Guys, keep it metal. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Love you guys. Now we got to figure out where the off button is.
Turn it off.
Turn it off.